Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to Prime Time News. It's the 15th day of August 2014. I'm Sonali Manigabadage.
Hello, good evening and welcome. I'm Nadim Majid. Let's start off with a look at the news-making headlines tonight.
A third party related to a large-scale drug racket identified.
For capital expenditure, it must generate the type of revenue that you are anticipating.
A statement by a top official from the Malaysian Ministry of Finance. Illegal siphoning of water reported from the Malala area in Hambantota.
On to our top story tonight. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana says that a middleman responsible for the smuggling of drugs into the country has been identified. The police media spokesperson made this revelation while making clarifications regarding a haul of 59 kilograms of heroin valued at 450 million rupees that was seized by the police in Katugastota.
The haul of narcotics was seized by the Police Anti-Narcotics Bureau in Katugastota. 4 suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident. An individual from Pala Patwala in Matale was arrested following investigations carried out on a tip-off received in March 2013. The police also seized 2 rental vehicles that were used by the smugglers.
The arrested individual is 34 years of age. He was arrested and taken to Katugastota at about 5 o'clock this morning. He used a key in his possession to open the premises there. 57 parcels containing a certain substance were discovered at this location. During the operation, another person was arrested at Park Road in Mount Lavinia. He was arrested along with his wife. Another suspect connected to this narcotics racket was arrested at about 3 a.m. today in Kakirawa.
The police media spokesperson added that the police have been able to completely dismantle the smuggling racket that brings narcotics to Sri Lanka from abroad.
We have been able to dismantle this narcotics network completely. We had identified 2 of the key persons involved in smuggling narcotics into Sri Lanka. One of them is Wele Sudha and the other was Muhammad Siddiq. The seizure of the haul of 59 kilograms of heroin today has revealed that there is a third party that is involved in bringing narcotics into Sri Lanka. The investigation is ongoing.
Sri Lanka madravya evime නිරත වන බව අඛණ්ඩව අපි මේ විමර්ශන කටයුතු සිදු කරනවා.
An increase in the smuggling of drugs and narcotics to the country. 294 kilograms of heroin seized by police in 2013. 264 kilograms of heroin seized by police and customs in 2014. Customs seized 36 kilograms of heroin smuggled into the country from Pakistan. 85 kilograms of heroin seized in Biagama. 2 suspects arrested. 9 kilograms of heroin seized by police in Madivela. 9 kilograms of heroin seized in Vanathamulla Borella. 8 suspects arrested. More than 100 kilograms of narcotics which were brought from Karachi, Pakistan seized by customs. 59 kilograms of heroin seized by the Police Narcotics Bureau in Katugastota. This is just a glimpse into a large racket that is underway. Smuggling and transportation of drugs is an act punishable by law. If such large-scale smuggling operations continue to take place within the country, what is the fate of our future generations? For your attention.
A major dialogue is currently underway on breaking the stranglehold of narcotics on the country. Speaking at an event held yesterday, UPFA Western Provincial Councillor Hirunika Premachandra commented on the issue.
Alcohol and narcotics on one hand may generate revenue for a country. I'm not saying they are good things. On the other hand, however, alcohol and narcotics drag a country into the depths. I live in Kolinawa, and in a week if you go for 10 funerals, 3 of them will be for persons who have died by consuming alcohol and narcotics. Who are the people to blame? They don't complain to persons in high positions. They complain to you and the police. But no one knows the backstory. There are people in the background who ask people to stop doing these things or to abandon these habits. When you listen to those people and carry out your duties, you may receive threats. But I promise you today that if you face any such problem, inform me and I will use my direct connection with the President to resolve the problem for you.
කෙලින්ම මට කතා කරන්න අනිවාර්යෙන් මගේ කෙලින්ම සම්බන්ධ තියෙන ජනාධිපතිතුමත් එක්ක කියලා ප්‍රශ්න විසඳලා දෙන්න.
Growth without balance means nothing. Those were the words of Koshi Thomas, the head of the outcome-based budgeting unit of the Malaysian Ministry of Finance. Thomas was the keynote speaker today at a luncheon meeting organized by the American Chamber of Commerce in Sri Lanka, or AmCham Sri Lanka. He addressed the gathering on the topic Implementing the Hub Strategy, an international perspective.
The luncheon meeting held in Colombo today was well attended by a gathering including several prominent business personalities.
Growth without balance means nothing. In a case like Sri Lanka, which is still a developing country like Malaysia, the public sector contributes significantly to GDP growth. So that's why we need to manage this process. If you're going to just end up paying debts, then it's not really a very productive thing. If we borrow money for something, you have to ensure that at the end of the day, it generates the kind of revenue it's supposed to generate. If you're going to borrow money for a specific project and it is not going to generate money, then that money has to come from somewhere else. This is important. So make sure that whatever money you are borrowing, whether it's internally or externally, for capital expenditure, it must generate the type of revenue that you are anticipating.
Well, the political stage is certainly heating up ahead of the upcoming over-provincial council elections. Here are some of the views expressed on the political platforms as the parties gear up for the polls.
My friends, Mahinda Rajapaksa is a great political figure with an extraordinary political personality. If we do not elect him for another 6 years and another party takes over, this will lead to a great harm. Then what will happen to us? Mothers and fathers, if you all have a sense of duty for your country, let us go to the parliament. There are a group of individuals who should be thrown in the Nilwala river to be eaten by crocodiles. Those who qualify should be the crocodiles. Can we say yes to this? Even if the answers we give are kind to sand, it is okay, because you have given us another 5 years. Ask them what they have given you. All they did was fool the public. However, they managed their welfare and ensured their well-being. What we see is the public being burdened every day. Those who obtained votes were the ones who benefited, and those who gave votes were the ones who lost. Those who received votes became rich, and those who gave votes became poor. No matter which side we support, this is the situation. Now there is a group of MPs who are gossiping. Before it was the women who gossip. Now it is men who are gossiping.
Ashantaraka Gamage at the Newsfirst Uber Election Bureau filed this report today on campaigning that is taking place in the province. We can see that preparations are well underway in the Badulla district for the Uber Provincial Council polls. It is also notable that the Elections Complaints Unit established at the Badulla District Secretariat is yet to receive any complaints. The situation in Badulla is largely peaceful, but it is expected that the election will prove to be both tense and important in the Badulla district. Campaign material that had been pasted on buses and other vehicles in the Monragala district were removed today. The operation was undertaken at 2 locations on the Monragala-Potuville and Monragala-Colombo main roads. Meanwhile, election observers say that a large number of voters who are qualified to exercise their franchise do not possess national identity cards. Monitoring organizations say about 40,000 voters in the Badulla district alone do not have NICs. When Newsfirst made inquiries, the Commissioner General of the Registration of Persons noted that a special program is underway to provide NICs for voters in the Uber province who do not possess identification papers. Additional Elections Commissioner RMAL Ratnayaka says the registered voters will be able to obtain temporary identification papers until the 12th of September. He added that voters who do not have a clear picture on their NICs should also apply for temporary identification.
The police have discovered a marijuana cultivation valued at over 30 million rupees subsequent to a tip-off. The cultivation was found in the Mankada area in Vehera.
The raid was conducted subsequent to a tip-off. 2 suspects were taken into custody while several suspects had fled the scene. Our correspondent stated that the marijuana cultivation was located 400 meters away from an office affiliated with the Department of Wildlife. The police stated that extensive investigations have been launched into the incident.
Thousands of acres of paddy land in the Hambantota district are facing the threat of destruction due to the illegal siphoning of water. The farmers who use water from the Katu Ara and the water that flows through the Balala Ara are facing this crisis.
The Malala Ara carries water from the Mawar located in the Udavalava National Park in the Uva province to the Bandagiriya tank in the Hambantota district. Traditional paddy farmers make use of this water as it flows down the Malala Ara, which spans nearly 25 kilometers. However, settlers from other areas have begun large-scale cultivations on either sides of the Malala Ara. A water crisis has erupted as a result of these farmers using large pumps to draw out water from the Malala Ara.
These farmers cultivate on lands which span nearly 2 to 3 acres. Our area residents have leased their lands for 10 to 12 years to outsiders. This is for a sum of 25 to 30,000 rupees. These outsiders have begun large-scale banana plantations and they take a large amount of water. They use machinery to take this water. As a result, our lands are left without any water. There are political interventions. The water in the Malala Ara has dried up because of this. They use huge pumps with pipes of 6 to 10 inches and they keep pumping water to 25 to 30 acres of land. We don't have water for drinking or bathing. This is not being done by our villagers. Large-scale farming is being done by engineers, doctors and lawyers. Labourers work on these fields.
Since the water that flows from the Malala Ara dried up midway, the Bandagiriya tank is now facing the risk of drying up. Incidentally, the Malala Ara also supplies water to hotels that have been constructed in the tank reserve. Nearly 800 acres of paddy land which traditionally rely on water from the Bandagiriya tank are facing an imminent risk of being destroyed.
If we don't get a proper response to this issue, then the permanent crops of this village will certainly be destroyed.
These are the visuals gathered by Newsfirst correspondent Granvir Ratnayaka, who travelled to a number of areas including Gonnorua, Mattala and Siribopura. Farmers are calling on officials to put a stop to the illegal siphoning of water using political influence.
Up next is a look at the weather forecast with Joel Outskun.
A very good evening to you and welcome to Weather First with me, Joel Outskun. The Met Department is forecasting showers or thunder showers could be experienced in the areas of the coast extending from Galle to Portugal via Hambantota. Now, the Met Department also says that several spells of showers will be experienced in the areas of the coast around the island. Winds will be southwesterly in direction and will reach a speed up to 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, showers were experienced in the drought-affected areas in the areas of Vaunia after a period of 9 months, bringing a welcome respite to the heat. The Department of Meteorology adds that several spells of showers will be experienced in the western, Sabragamu and central provinces as well as in the Galle and Matharu districts. Thunder showers will develop in the eastern, Uva and north-central provinces in the evening or afternoon.
The dumping of waste into the Boburala in Nuvarelia has caused the raising of serious health and environmental concerns among area residents.
According to area residents, the Boburala, which adds to the beauty of Nuvarelia, has also become a garbage dumping point. Newsfirst cameras captured the manner in which garbage collected from hospitals, garments had been dumped there along with animal remains. The Boburu Alla is the main source of water which feeds the Uma Alla, and it is the people of Uwa Paranagama who use the Uma Alla on a daily basis that have been greatly inconvenienced.
Nearly 70 to 95% of the people use water from the Uma Alla for drinking water. Please take steps to clean this up. Nearly 120,000 people utilize this water. As monks, we urge the authorities to give us clean water instead of this unclean water.
Construction on Phase 2 of the Lake Gregory development project is nearing completion. The development project is being undertaken under the Mahinda Chintanaya Vision for the Future manifesto under the direct supervision of the Secretary to the Ministry of Defence and Urban Development.
Phase 2 of the Lake Gregory development project, which commenced in 2011, is a joint initiative of the Urban Development Authority, the Nuwara Eliya Municipal Council and the Ministry of Economic Development. The purpose of this project is to provide leisure facilities for tourists arriving in Nuwara Eliya, declaring an environment conservation zone around Lake Gregory and increasing the incomes of the local populace and local government institutions.
The Japanese government provided financial assistance to the tune of 42 million for this project. Our main focus in this project was providing parking facilities for tourists visiting Nuwara Eliya, the construction of gazebos and the establishment of a botanical garden. In addition, we are also providing various leisure facilities for tourists such as footpaths and bicycle tracks.
The tourism zone will also comprise of carriageways, botanical gardens and several other features. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivers his maiden Independence Day speech as India celebrates 68 years of independence. Details on the international desk.
Welcome back to Primetime News. President Mahinda Rajapaksa says he will not allow criticism to hinder the government's development process. The head of state made this statement at an event held in Walapani.
The function was held to vest the Mahindodaya Technological Laboratory of the Walapane Rupaha Saddananda College to the students. President Rajapaksa, who declared open the laboratory, later inspected it. Seychelles Minister of Health Mitsulahu met President Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees last evening. This was in pursuance of obtaining Sri Lanka's assistance in developing the Seychelles health sector. President Rajapaksa expressed his agreement to provide assistance in this regard. A communique issued by the Presidential Media Unit quoted the Health Minister of Seychelles as stressing on the importance of those in island nations working together.
General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Minister Maithripala Sirisena, says that the SLFP has not reached a clear decision on the executive presidency.
In 1978, during President J.R. Jayawardena's tenure, soon after the new constitution was established, all the senior ministers of the government toured the universities giving lectures. I remember in 78, about a month after the new constitution came into being, a senior minister told our university students that this was established to ensure that the SLFP never comes back into power. The 1978 constitution is still in effect, and it has become a curse that bounced back on UNP. There is no specialty about our stance. We have not got a proposal as a party on special changes that need to be made to the position.
While many factions in the country are raising concerns regarding the rule of law, the people of Gomarang Kadawela in Trincomalee are facing a problem with regard to access to law enforcement. Up next is Action TV.
The town of Gomarang-Kadavala, which was battered by the war, received its own police station because of the war itself. The police station was established in 1986. The turn to the right from the Thiriyaya junction about 22 kilometers down the Trincomalee-Anuradhapura road is the main road leading to the town of Gomarang-Kadavala. Prior to 1986, when the town of Gomarang-Kadavala came under the purview of the Moravawa police, those visiting the Moravawa police station were made to travel 7 kilometers back to the Thiriyaya junction and from there another 20 kilometers towards Trincomalee. Gomarang-Kadavala receiving its own police station in 1986 may have been a result of the hardships faced by the residents who were made to travel 25 kilometers to access law enforcement. Villages coming under the purview of the Gomarang-Kadavala Divisional Secretariat are located northwards from the town towards Kuchavedi. Accordingly, it can be said that the location selected for the establishment of the police station in 1986 was the most appropriate location. However, the building that was allocated for this purpose was one that belonged to the Surveyor General's Department. The police department at present has been made to fulfill the responsibility of returning this building to the Surveyor General's Department. Although preparations have been made to construct a new building to house the Gomarang-Kadavala police station, it is evident that due consideration has not been given to public convenience. The new building is being constructed on a plot of land away from the Gomarang-Kadavala town towards Moravawa. The distance between the new premises and the Moravawa police station is a mere 6 kilometers. As a result of the police department's decision to place two police stations within 6 kilometers of each other, the residents of some parts of Gomarang-Kadavala will be made to face the same hardships that were faced by residents here prior to 1986. Nevertheless, the environs of the plot of land where the new Gomarang-Kadavala police station is built has a lot in common with the official logo of the Sri Lanka Police. This is an area where wild elephants roam constantly and as such causes people to abandon the area come nightfall.
No one can go at night to make an entry. Even if someone is given bail at night, they will have to stay at the police. This is meaningless. It is the elephants that will have to transport the people. Shouldn't the decision to distance the Gomarang-Kadavala police station from the people of Gomarang-Kadavala be reconsidered? Inspector General of Police, this is over to you.
The police yesterday arrested 4 members of the Krishna gang, which had been menacing the people of Jaffna. The arrests were made by a group of police officers who were on patrol early this morning in the Manipai area in Jaffna.
The members of the Krishna gang had attempted to flee when the police attempted to arrest them. The police say that shots were fired at 4 of the suspects below their knees. The 4 who were shot at were arrested while the rest of the gang members had fled. The police had also seized several motorcycles and swords belonging to the gang. The arrested suspects were produced before the Mallakam court in Jaffna and were remanded. The police say that the members of another armed gang dubbed Ava were recently apprehended as well. Following the end of the war, various persons spoke of criminal gangs and an underworld. But there are no such criminal gangs. Individuals in those areas who have committed various crimes have been arrested. Investigations into these incidents are ongoing.
Ajit Nivad Cabral, the governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, says he is expecting a further reduction in the interest rates of commercial banks. The central bank governor made this statement in an exclusive interview with Newsfirst on the CBSL's monetary policy stance.
In its monetary policy statement for the month of August, the CBSL noted that the Monetary Board had decided to maintain the policy repurchase and reverse repurchase rates unchanged for the 7th straight month. The CBSL notes that policy measures in the recent past have led to a gradual decline in the interest rates in the market. The CBSL had maintained low policy rates since January in a bid to boost economic activity.
The policy rates, when they are adjusted upwards, it's quite quickly that it gets transmitted into the economy through the banks, but at times at the time that the central bank reduces the policy rates, we find that the transmission time is a little longer. In this instance also we have seen that taking place, where the space that the banks have right now for the impact of the policy rates reduction to be provided to those to whom the banks are lending money has not been completed as yet, but we find that the trajectory is satisfactory and that it is taking place to some extent. So we still think that there is a little bit more space for it to take place, and we are watching the situation carefully. But we are satisfied so far with the progress that has taken place.
The Cycle for Life campaign, a fundraiser organised for open heart surgery at the Northern Central Hospital in Jaffna, commenced today.
DMTV and MBC Media Network is the media partner of the Cycle for Life campaign organised by the Oxonian Heart Foundation. 60 students from the Jaffna University are participating in the pedal-off. Following religious observances at the Nallur Church in Jaffna this morning, the group arrived at the Kailaya Pillayar Kovil in procession. The pedal-off was then inaugurated by the Vice-Chancellor of the Jaffna University, Vasanthi Arasaratnam. The cyclists are to arrive in Colombo on Saturday, after visiting Kilinochchi, Vavuniya, Medawachya, Anuradhapura, Kurunegala and Ambepussa.
Moving on, the Indian police have prevented an attempt by fishermen from Rameshwaram, South India, to raise the Indian flag on the island of Kachativu. Newsfirst correspondent in Rameshwaram noted that a number of fishermen were arrested by Indian authorities while they were staging a protest. Our correspondent added that the 30 arrested fishermen are activists of the governing Bharatiya Janata Party.
A 1.5-year-old child died when he choked on a peanut in the Doranagoda area in Gampaha.
The police stated that the incident occurred when the mother of the child fed peanuts to the infant last night. The post-mortem examination was conducted at the Gampaha hospital this morning.
The report Issues of Truth and Accountability, the last stages of the civil war in Sri Lanka, the third narrative, was launched in Colombo this evening. The report, which has been compiled by prominent intellectuals, is a publication of the Marga Institute.
Several public representatives, senior public officials, intellectuals, civil society representatives and representatives of foreign missions attended the launch of the report at the BMICH in Colombo this evening. The launch of the report itself was a departure from tradition. The chairman of the Marga Institute elaborated in his short address.
This departure from general practice is to focus on the message being placed before you, rather than to focus attention on the messengers. Our intention is to bring you into the discourse, a discourse that is of national significance for the present and for the future, right from the launch of the report. I also wish to bring to your attention that we have already appeared before the Disappearances Commission for submission of the findings of the third narrative, and that the report is marked as evidence placed before the Commission.
Speaking to Newsfirst following the launch of the report, Chairman Emeritus of the Marga Institute, Godfrey Gunathilaka, expressed these views.
The main objective here is to try and get a account of what happened on which we all can agree, an account of the truth, whether we are Tamils, Sinhalese, all of those who really participated in this must get an understanding of what happened on which we can agree and move forward towards reconciliation.
Y.K. Sinha, India's High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, says the phase of the Northern Railway Line project to Jaffna, which is partly funded by India, could be opened by next month. The High Commissioner made this statement at the 68th Indian Independence Day celebrations held in Colombo this morning.
The 68th Indian Independence Day celebrations in Colombo got underway this morning at the residence of the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Y.K. Sinha. The event, which featured a number of cultural performances, was attended by a large gathering, including members of the Indian community in Sri Lanka.
Perhaps by next month, we should be able to inaugurate the line right up to Jaffna, and by the end of the year, hopefully complete the project linking right up to Kankesan-Thorai and from to Talai Manar. With this, we hope to recommence the ferry service from Talai Manar to Rameshwaram, and perhaps realize the dream of many. Perhaps you'll be able to travel from Katragama to Bodh Gaya or Srinagar with a single ticket, and that, I think, is the aim of greater connectivity between our two countries and our two peoples.
Meanwhile, over in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, making his maiden Independence Day speech, told the world, "Come, make in India, sell anywhere but manufacture here. We have the skill and the talent." Newsfirst Farzan brings us this special report.
All eyes were on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he delivered his maiden Independence Day speech. On the occasion, India marks its 68th Independence Day anniversary. It was on the 15th of August 1947 that India gained independence from Britain, ending 200 years of British colonial rule. A wave of patriotism filled the air as Modi unfurled the national tricolour flag and addressed thousands of people at the historic podium from the ramparts of the 17th century Red Fort, from where Mughal kings ruled Delhi for 2 centuries. The capital was under a blanket of security, with thousands of police and soldiers deployed across the city. Modi did not read from a prepared text, and for the first time in many years, the Prime Minister did not stand behind a bulletproof screen.
If we are to provide employment to youth, then we have to provide a boost to the manufacturing sector. We need to stress on the manufacturing sector if we are to create a balance in the import-export situation. We need to channel the strength of our youth. We need to attract global investors as well. Therefore, I would like to tell the world, come, make in India.
Modi also addressed the need for women's empowerment in India.
After all, a person who is carrying out a rape is somebody's son. As parents, have we asked our sons where they are going? Have those parents asked the number of questions from their sons which they have asked their daughters? The law will take its own course, but we need to take responsibility to bring our sons who have deviated from the right path, to bring them back.
The address, televised live across the country, received a huge thumbs up, with many Indians taking to social media to describe it as refreshing, inspiring and impressive.
Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki has resigned in a move observers hope will end a political crisis in Baghdad. Also overseas, fresh violence in Pakistan, and we've got the very latest on the Ebola outbreak. Newsfirst Zulfiq Farzan joins us with comprehensive reports on these stories. Responding to a query made by Sports First, CEO of Sri Lanka Cricket Ashley De Silva stated that a date for the next meeting of the Sri Lanka Cricket Executive Committee has not been decided on. The Chairman and Secretary of Sri Lanka Cricket met with the Minister of Sports yesterday to resolve the current administration issues plaguing the board.
The members of the Sri Lanka Cricket Executive Committee attended a special meeting yesterday based on the directive of the Minister of Sports. A group including Sri Lanka Cricket Chairman Jayantha Dharmadasa, Secretary Nishant Ranathunga and Treasurer Nuski Mohammed attended the meeting. Selection Committee Chairman Sanat Jayasuriya also attended the meeting as a member of the Executive Committee. According to a release issued by the Ministry of Sports, the 2-hour-long meeting discussed the issues within Sri Lanka Cricket on an open platform. During the meeting, the Minister of Sports had stressed that minor differences in opinion should not be allowed to turn into issues that would affect the sport. The release by the Minister of Sports further notes that all parties agreed to act together to develop the future of the sport. However, none of the members that attended the meeting spoke to the media following its conclusion.
And from cricket administration to the cricket field, Ravana Herath picked up another 5-wicket haul for Sri Lanka on day 2 of the second test that is being played against Pakistan at the SSC. Pakistan currently trails Sri Lanka by 76 runs with 4 wickets in hand. Sri Lanka resumed their first essay on 261 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. However, they were eventually restricted to 320 runs. Junaid Khan picked up 5 wickets for the visitors. Pakistan, who commenced their reply, got off to a steady start with an opening stand of 47 runs. Khurram Manzoor was the first to fall as he was undone for 23 runs by Ravana Herath. Herath bagged his second wicket of the day, dismissing Azhar Ali for 32. Ahmed Shahzad, who hammered 58 runs, was undone by Dhammika Prasad. Ravana Herath bagged 3 more wickets before stumps on day 2. Pakistan ended the day on 244 runs for the loss of 6 wickets. Shafraz Ahmed remained unbeaten on 66.
That's gone. It's gone. I think it's done well. I think Silva has gone. I think will be on his way. But how talk about teamwork and team spirit and talk.
92 World Cup against Pakistan. And he's bowled in. He has bowled in. That is it. 5 wickets for...
And that's a wrap from all of us here at News First. I'm Sonali Manikabadage.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Just a reminder that you can keep abreast of all the news we're following here at News First by visiting our website newsfirst.lk. You can also follow us on Twitter on the handle at newsfirst_en. We leave you tonight with a look at the forecast highs for the next 24 hours. Good night and good luck.